Hey, AP Psychology class. I'm recording this. I took a break from the hospital to come and feed my dogs and record this for instructions for tomorrow, which will be here today. But first, the important stuff. Here is the baby that was born yesterday. There he is, and there he is. He's healthy, my wife's healthy, I'm healthy, but tired, but healthy. Everybody's good. So I'm going to give instructions on a kind of complicated project that we're going to do until school's out. So the reason it didn't work yesterday is you click request account, and for you all, it did not bring this up because apparently the school has really strict filter settings. So I'm going to email the IT department and have them fix that and whitelist this website, the eigenheimer.com/wiki. That shouldn't be a problem. It should happen pretty fast. So tomorrow it should be fixed. But all you have to do to sign up for an account is do your username, which for me would be Eigenheimer, but do it as your first letter of your first name, and this is actually for credit, so please actually do it this way. First letter of your first name, then your last name. So for me, that'd be Eigenheimer. And then your actual school email address, which would be eigenheimer@bmchs.org. Your actual name, because again, it's for credit. But I'm going to go ahead and make a dummy one, test@gmail.com. And then Mr. Test. Don't worry about this. I don't know how to remove it, but it's there. You don't have to do anything there. Click the I've read and then click request account. And once you do that, it will send me a message saying that you're requesting account. And then I'll say yes, and then it'll give you an account. Once you have an account, you log in with your it'll give you a temporary password, and then you use the temporary password, which was emailed to you, which is why it's important to use your actual email address. And then log in. I think it'll make you do a new password. Either that or you'll have to remember your complicated password. But once you log in, then it'll show that you're logged in here in the top right, where my mouse is, and if you click the M, it goes back to the main page. And all you're doing is, last semester kind of got this started, so most of them have, this is all written by students here. We can see who wrote this. This was written by Sheila Gaffney, Claire Cheshire, Maddie G, Sergio, and on. You can see everybody that ever made a change and exactly what that change was. So I can see exactly what Caroline Rowland did if I just clicked right here, compare selected revisions, and I'll see exactly what those 309 characters were. But anyway, so what you're going to be doing is adding characters to various pages, and it's all listed on the board of how many characters you have to do. But like for here, here's something that could be done, mean, median, mode, and range. And so all you do is you click edit on a website. I wish I was here so I could answer questions, because you're probably going to have questions that I'm not thinking of right now. But you can kind of experiment with it and figure it out. But click edit. There is kind of a coding language, but it's super simple. So I'll show you some examples here. If you do double brackets on a word, it starts a new page. Like, let's see, mean, median, mode, range, and they don't have standard deviation yet, so let's do that. If I were to put standard deviation right here, that would create a new article for standard deviation. Save changes, and now down here is a new article for standard deviation with nothing in it. So now if I go to standard deviation, it's a brand new page, and I'd say like standard deviation is the average distance between numbers in a group, which is kind of a very rough definition. Then I save that, and bam! Now it is going to be blue, which means that it's a page that exists. So alpha, the page doesn't exist, but you could define alpha here by saying like alpha is the some, whatever it is. But there's a few things. If you do B here, it makes it bold, and then you have to end the bold. Really, it doesn't. All this fancy stuff doesn't matter. If there's people that care enough, they can go in and do the coding. But you can look up, and I'll show you what that looks like. That just makes the word experiment bolded, or you can do U for underlined or I for italics. If you don't put the end on it, it's going to bold everything after the B, which bolds all of this. So make sure to end your, or just don't mess with it. If you don't want to mess with it, don't mess with it. Just write it without the coding and just say alpha is the character that does whatever it does. How I'm going to be grading it is, if you see your name up here and you go to contributions, once you go to contributions, it'll show everything you've done and the day that you did it. So I did these things today, just now. I made 3 changes in research methods. My first change was 8 characters. I did a 70 character change in standard deviation, which was apparently this sentence here was 70 characters long. So what I'm asking you to do in class is not that much, and you can certainly do more than that, but I'm just asking you to do a certain number of page edits and then a certain number of characters. Like, let's see, on May 11th, I did 22 characters in History and Approaches, and I did 46 characters in Carl Jung, 16 characters in Carl Jung, 12 in History Approaches, 61 in main page, and 8 in main page, and then that's just automatic. And last year we had a lot of problem with plagiarism. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up your contributions. Well, that was just some formatting. So let me find contributions I actually did. I'm going to bring up your contributions. These 20, that doesn't count. I'll bring up, well, here, I wrote this sentence. So on every one of you, I'm going to take a sentence that you type, and I'm going to Google it. And here, it doesn't appear that that appears anywhere else on the internet. But if you take something and just copy paste it from Wikipedia or from really anywhere on the internet, I'll be able to see that you did that, and I'll give you a 0 on it. So it needs to be original content only. Don't copy paste. And if you do copy paste, put quotation marks and cite the source. But really just avoid that in general, unless it's necessary. If it's a quote from an actual person that's pertinent, then of course do a quotation. But other than that, avoid quotations and just use your own words, because if you plagiarize, I will give you a 0. I think that's about it. I'm sure I'm forgetting some pretty important stuff, but also here's some guides. This is a guide on exactly how to write. But Mr. Johnson will communicate with me what was confusing about this, and hopefully this will make sense, and this will be a good way to raise your grade a little bit. Because I'm going to put it in as a new category, and anyone that doesn't plagiarize and actually does this should get a better grade in the class. If you do have any questions, please just email me at egenheimer@bmchs.org, and I will try and answer those quickly. I get the emails, and I'll try and answer them on the spot. So if there's anything that's unclear about what I'm saying here, please email me, and I'll answer that.